you to this session of the 3-day student empowerment program on validation and concept development. Uh, just to give you a brief introduction about this workshop, this total program of 3 days. So this program is being organized by the institution's Innovation Council as a part of its IIC calendar activities for Q2. This program will be held from 1st February to 3rd February 2023 in virtual mode through Google Meet. This program is in continuation of the 3-day student empowerment program on inspiration, motivation, and ideation held during Q1, where the students were motivated to generate innovative ideas through various workshops and motivational sessions by successful innovators and startup founders. Many of the participants today who are present here might have attended the earlier program. In fact, we had circulated a registration form to all of you and asked if you have attended the previous program. So we received entries from registration requests from 171 students, out of which about 16% of the students had said that yes, they had attended the previous program. The previous program is important because uh, the basic steps of ideation, problem solving, and such concepts were explained to you in that program. Now, today's program on validation and concept development takes the concept of that ideation that has happened, the idea that has been generated by you, to one step ahead, and where your idea would be validated, your concept will be validated and designed to take it forward to the next step. So the 3-day program will have workshops and expert talk sessions on the concepts of design thinking, commercialization of technology, technology readiness levels, entrepreneurship attitude, and problem solution fit and product market fit. During these 3 days, the participants will interact intensively with the innovation ambassadors, Dr. Vijeta Banwari, Dr. Anupriya Pandey, Dr. Om Prakash Sharma, Dr. Jyotsna Dikshit, Dr. Momita Das, and Dr. Sujata Santosh. So with this brief introduction to the program, I invite Dr. O.P. Sharma to say a few words, please. Dr. Sharma.
Thank you, Dr. Momita. Good morning to all of you. I also welcome you all for this 3-day training program for empowering the students towards entrepreneurship. As Dr. Momita has mentioned, these 3 days will have different sessions on different topics. Basically, this is in continuation to the previous workshop which we had in the month of November or December, where we had talked about the basics of innovation, entrepreneurship, and some idea generation exercises were taken place. Importance of problem identification, problem solving, these all aspects were discussed. But now, because we want whatever ideas you have generated, whatever problems you have identified, you should take them forward, work upon them more, so that these could be converted into a proper proof of concept, prototype, and then into a proper innovation or a startup. So the basic objective of this series of programs is to convert your ideas into a proper startup, final product, so that we can take it to the market for commercialization purpose. In this context, this first session, which Dr. Jyotsna Dikshit will be taking on design thinking and critical thinking and innovation design, I think this will give you an idea what we are going to do in these 3 days, and then what are our expectations and what you may be expecting from us. These all things will be done. So I welcome you for this 3-day training program, and I hope it will be useful to you. I would like to suggest you that you kindly take it seriously, so that if you have any idea, you can convert that idea into a proper startup. That is our main objective. And with that objective, we are starting today's first session. So Dr. Momita, you can take it further. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. Welcome to the first session of the 3-day student empowerment program on validation and concept development. The topic of this session is design thinking, critical thinking, and innovation design. And today we have with us Dr. Jyotsna Dikshit, Deputy Director NCIDA, to take this session. And it is my pleasure to introduce her to you. As an idea creator and innovator, Dr. Jyotsna Dikshit has contributed tremendously by developing, implementing, and managing several innovative pedagogical, technological, and managerial solutions for training, teaching, and learning. As an expert in innovation in the open and distance learning system, she has contributed immensely to the professional development programs on creativity and innovation for faculty and students of IGNOU, innovative use of ICT tools, and interactive multimedia for the teachers. She has carried out research studies on the use effectiveness of innovative and upcoming ICT for providing education to distance learners and understanding the perception of innovation among the students of IGNOU, to name a few. She has participated in international conferences and seminars and presented on topics related to open innovation, innovative use of ICTs, future innovations, virtual lab, innovation management, etc. I welcome Dr. Jyotsna to this session and invite her to begin her session. Dr. Jyotsna, please.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद डॉक्टर मोमिता दास, और मैं सभी का इस सेशन में फिर से स्वागत करती हूँ. And before we actually start the session and the proceedings, I would like that you introduce to ourselves that what is the purpose that you have joined this workshop, specifically this session. And the other thing is that are you a part of IGNOU program or you are an alumni? So I can call Dr. Reddy, Mr. Reddy. We are not. Hello, Mr. Reddy. Are you there? Okay, while Mr. Reddy is getting ready, Dilpreet Singh ji. Mr. Dilpreet Singh, are you available? Okay. Mr. Ganesh Bandhani. Am I audible?
Yeah. Good morning.
Yeah, good
You're
morning.
audible. You're audible, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Ganesh ji.
Yeah, good morning. Hello.
Yeah, Ganesh ji, you may please express the program which you are enrolled in and what are your objectives for attending this workshop, in particular this session.
Yeah, exactly. I received a mail from that particular person for that particular webinar, yeah, training programs or online programs. So that by attending that, we have know something a creative idea, and that we need to that attend that particular program.
What is your program name?
Yeah, program means that means the creative idea and some critical thinking regarding that.
No, but in which program of IGNOU you are enrolled in?
Yeah, information security, Master of Science in Information Security. Yeah.
Mr. Ashish Rawat.
Yes, good morning, ma'am. I'm Ashish Rawat. I'm enrolled in BASOH in IGNOU, and the objective of my objective for which I'm joining this seminar is to enhance my creative ideas and to know more about how can I execute ideas. Means in any fields. So basically, this is my purpose.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kusam Chaurasia.
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम.
Good morning.
मैम मैं इग्नू से एमईजी इंग्लिश में एनरोल्ड हूँ, और इस सेशन को अटेंड करने का मेरा मेन ये रीज़न है कि मुझे क्योंकि मैंने भी एक इनोवेशन में भी पार्टिसिपेट किया था, जो कि अभी शायद ऑन गोइंग है. और मैं बस अपने जो भी आइडियाज़ हैं अपने स्कूल के बच्चों तक कैसे उसको एग्जीक्यूट कर सकती हूँ, और क्या नए नए क्रिएटिव चीज़ें हैं या कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो मैं उनको प्रोवाइड करूँ और वो अपनी स्टडी में उसको यूज़ कर सकें। तो बस मैं वही अपनी और नॉलेज को एनहेंस करना चाहती हूँ।
Thank you, Miss Kusum. Miss Garima, Miss Minakshi.
Good morning, ma'am. I am Meenakshi Kukureti, pursuing library science course from IGNOU at present. और मेरा ये मोटिव है कि मैम जो मेरे पास कलेक्शंस हैं, जो आर्ट कलेक्शंस हैं, पर्टिकुलरली मैं हिस्ट्री बैकग्राउंड से हूँ, तो मेरे को मतलब आर्ट कलेक्शंस बहुत अच्छे लगता है, जैसे म्यूजियम वगैरह, उसमें मैं अपने मतलब आर्ट कलेक्शन डिस्प्ले करना चाहती हूँ. दैट इज माई मेजर कंसर्न.
Okay.
या
So you want to use information technology while doing so?
सॉरी मैम, कैन यू रिपीट?
So you want to use information and communication technologies while doing that?
Sorry, ma'am, but I'm not aware of this kind of technology because I've never seen it before.
Okay, you will be soon learning in your program also.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, ma'am.
Mr. Shivam.
यस गुड मॉर्निंग मैम। और मैंने एमकॉम परस्यू किया है इग्नू से, और मैं एक आइडियाज़ भी फाइंड आउट कर रहा हूँ मार्केट में कि एक नया बिजनेस डेवलप करने के लिए, और करंटली वी आर डूइंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन बिजनेस।
अच्छा, तो अभी आप एमकॉम के स्टूडेंट हैं?
जी, एमकॉम मेरा एग्जाम हो चुके हैं अभी फाइनल ईयर के। यस।
ओके। मिस खुशबू, मिस्टर आयुष, मिस्टर आयुष, मिस्टर अर्जित।
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Myself, Arijit Sen. I have completed postgraduate diploma in book publishing from IGNOU. Myself also involved in publication industry, and especially after Corona, that hardcore printing publishing industry little bit face challenge, and e-publishing, e-journal has evolved a lot. So my purpose of join this program to learn something new, something creativity, so that market could be captured and do something new. That is my main purpose.
Great. Mr. Ayush.
Thank you.
हाँ हेलो मैम, मैं अभी एमएसओ कर रहा हूँ, मास्टर ऑफ आर्ट्स इन सोशोलॉजी इग्नू से। और हम ये चाहते हैं कि हम भी कोई स्टार्टअप स्टार्ट कर सकें ताकि कुछ इनकम हो सके हम लोगों को, इसीलिए हम ये मीटिंग अटेंड कर रहे हैं। थैंक यू।
ओके। मिस दीपांशी, मिस्टर जनक, मिस्टर देवदास।
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Ma'am, I'm pursuing BSc General with IGNOU. This is my second year, and my basic purpose to join the meeting is I wanted to grow in in the startup sector, in the entrepreneurial sector, because it's been almost a decade working with travel and tourism sector. So I find all the sectors and everything to be, it's not, in the future it will not grow as much because the generation is of artificial intelligence. So I wanted to learn something new and I wanted to start something so that after 10 years maybe it will be a very good opportunity for us, because at that point of time we will not have that much scope to learn. We will be very delayed in our life. So that is the only point and basic objective, to learn right now and to have a growth in life.
We are to learn right now and simultaneously also start thinking of implementing it.
Correct, ma'am.
Because 10 years time is a long one.
Yes.
At that time, the technology and the environment will be entirely changed.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
So good initiative. And since you are the second year student of BSCG, So the basic purpose while we are interacting with you is to exactly understand your requirements, your needs, and your expectations. And simultaneously, this workshop is one mode in a way to identify the IGNOU students as well as alumni who are interested in either setting up their startup or starting their entrepreneurial journey. And those of you who will be interested further, we will at NCID would certainly like to facilitate you and guide you even
Right,
after this workshop. Yeah, thank you.
right,
Ms.
ma'am.
Shubha Lakshmi,
Good morning, ma'am.
good morning.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I've been doing DEC programming IGNO, ma'am. So I wish this program will enhance my knowledge, ma'am, because I love to. Basically, I'm a researcher, ma'am. I'm doing PhD, ma'am. So this program will develop my innovative ideas, and I can develop into prototypes, ma'am. So I think it will be more helpful for me, ma'am. So only I'm attending this program, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Miss Mirali,
Yeah, good morning, ma'am.
good morning.
I'm first year student pursuing MBA from IGNOU, and the purpose of attending this workshop is to know that whether my startup idea is a valid one, it can rise, it can get what it exactly wants or not. Whether I should file the patent and then execute, or first execute and then file patent or something like that.
Thank you. Mr. Venkat,
Good morning, ma'am.
good morning.
Myself, Venkat Srinivas. I'm pursuing MSc in Renewable Energy and Environment. I've submitted an idea recently, and the reason why I joined over here is to understand like when how the team could help me in terms of content development, digital marketing, and also concept validation. Secondly, when I would like to understand like when how do I scale up my business when I have an idea. So when how best I can grab the ideas from this session and which will help me in scaling up the business in coming future.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Venkat. Dr. Ravi Shankar, it's good to see you back again.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, actually, presently I'm doing a certificate course in adolescent counseling from IGNOU. Before that, I have completed my MBA from IGNOU. I have completed my postgraduate diploma in international business operations from IGNOU. Presently, I'm working as an assistant professor in Graphikara University, Dehradun, in the Department of Psychology. But my aim is, ma'am, like I'm planning to leave my job from teaching. I want to do something in the domain of mental health, because I am into psychology, I am into counseling, and I am working as a university counseling psychologist also presently. So my aim is taking a break from teaching and to do something in the field of mental health. So I am planning to start up something in the field of mental health, and exclusively some of the courses in the field of psychology and advanced study in psychology. So I thought that this program will definitely help me gain some knowledge in building of my own startups. That is why I joined here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sampath.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a student of MSO, that is psychology in IGNOU. And actually, I'm doing this because I'm more keen in reforming school education, higher education and school education. I had participated in the innovative awards in your organization, and somehow I was not be able to impress. And I wanted to know that how I can improve upon my innovative ideas in reforming education. That's my objective of even doing this course in IGNOU.
Thank you, Dr. Sampath. Mr. Praveen, no, Mr. Pavani Rao. Miss Pavani Rao, are you there? Mr. Lavkush, Mr. Rohit Jha. Yeah, Mr. Lavkush. Okay, well, I think
Dr. Jyotsna,
Yeah,
please
thanks.
unmute.
Thanks. Yeah. So I think that we got a good idea of about our participants, the programs which they are pursuing or persuaded from IGNOU, and what are the expectations from this workshop, as in particular this session. So let me first tell you that this is the second series of the workshop. So the basics of generating idea, the basics concepts of innovation have been already covered in the previous workshop. So in this particular session, keeping your interest in mind, we'll design it in such a way, after listening to you, is that in the first half we will give a very brief presentation on the topic of this session, that is design thinking, critical thinking, and design innovation. And then just to give you an idea, kind of an hands-on experience on how to implement this design thinking process, we will do a quick activity amongst ourselves. And for that, uh, we need a representative from our participants who will facilitate us in doing the activities, and other participants will also be doing the activities simultaneously at their end and sharing their feedback with us. So now I'll start the presentation. I'll just take another half an hour or so in just browsing you through the entire this design thinking, what it is, the role of critical thinking in design thinking, and also innovation design. Just sharing my screen. Dr. Momita, is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's visible, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So basically, in this session, we will be giving you a brief overview, just in a minute or two, about what the innovation framework is, because it will, and all of you are requested to just look into it, the framework, very carefully, because it is a kind of a guideline for you in how to move from your journey on discovering a problem, ideation, product development, up to commercialization. Then we'll walk through the design thinking process, what it is, why it is needed, with a few case studies, and the need of critical thinking in implementing design thinking, and then design innovation. And of course, before the session ends, we will also be doing a co-creation activity. So, according to Mr. Dell, COE and founder of Dell, said that you don't have to be a genius or a visionary or even a college graduate to be successful. You just need a framework and a dream. So basically, innovation framework enables innovators and entrepreneurs like you to implement and commercialize ideas. Like most of you mentioned here, that either you are in the process of ideation, you are in the process of doing something, you want to have your own startups, and some of you also have ideas, and some of you not only have idea, they have implemented a particular uh, process design, but still somewhere they find that their innovation is not properly recognized. So maybe in the coming slides, you will come to know that where exactly you fit from the innovation framework. We can do a 3-minute exercise here quickly, where you can identify where you exactly stand in the innovation framework. So basically, it has 5 stages: the discover stage, ideation stage, development stage, validation stage, and the commercialization stage. In the discovery stage, basically, you sense around you, in your society, in your state, in your country, around the globe, about various problems. Now, these problems are more of social in nature. It may be related to poverty, it may be related to environment. Then the skills which you require are, you have to be focused, disciplined, and the most important skill here which you'll need is the skill to listen and observe carefully. observe the people who are in problem, observe the people who are the solution providers, and then identify the gap between the people who want the solution and people who are the solution providers. And this could be done through techniques like interview, personas, asking questions, what, how, why, and designing a journey map, empathy map. All sort of tools are available. And what is the outcome of this stages? That you find the root cause and define the problem. That is creation of a problem statement. I hope everyone has understood this phase. Similarly, from creation of a problem statement, we move to the ideation stage. Now, in this ideation stage, basically, ideas flow from all direction, and but we have to focus on the ideas which are viable, feasible, and desirable, and they are successful business ideas. The mindset is that you have to keep your mind open, let ideas flow from all directions, but you have to be creative. You have to apply your critical thinking skills, apply divergent thinking and convergent thinking tools like brainstorming, brain writing, scamper techniques are also applied here. And at the end, you come up with a new and viable business idea, which you take and further process and try to develop a proof of concept prototype. Now, while here you create a prototype, you have to keep on testing it also. And maybe there were, say, you identified one idea, but there were other ideas also at the back as a plan A, B, C, D. And if this particular idea somehow during the testing phase you found out that it has failed miserably, or it will not be, you will not be able to implement it up to the grassroots, then maybe you have to fall back upon your plan B, C, and D, and so on. This is kind of an iteration which goes on until unless the proper testing is done, and you are able to create a minimum viable product. And this also requires a kind of a market research. You will be required to develop a business model canvas and business plan. Then once you develop the prototype, proof of concept, you will validate it. How you will validate? You will validate by testing it in the market. While you were testing it as a prototype, you were testing with a closed group of customers, but now you will put it to the market, you will put it to a pilot test. Based on the feedback, you will develop a business plan, and a plan which will give you the directions in how to release your product to the market. So outcome will be demonstration of the product, process, or service, and a kind of an initial customer acceptance. That is, attraction will be there. Then in the commercialization, basically when you launch your product, you will require the skills for value creation, digital marketing. Some of you mentioned that you need such kind of trainings. So certainly after this workshop, as I mentioned earlier, that all of you who want to us to facilitate you, to provide a kind of a hand holding to you in your journey, we will certainly facilitate, and we may provide different kind of training to you according to your needs. And then as an outcome, you will be launching a new product or service or implement a new process, and the revenue generation takes place. Now, I would like to ask each one of you, or whom you want to answer, is if you could tell me out of these 5 stages where you are right now, because this will also enable us in facilitating you in your journey further. Dr. Sampath?
Yeah, I'm in the stage of implementation, ma'am. And mostly, I'm been trying to contact governments, and because education is held with mostly in governments, and without government permission, I cannot do anything. So my reforms that I'm talking about in education field has to be validated by the government, state governments, and central government, whom I've been in touch with. And maybe soon I will get a contract also from the United Nations.
Wonderful. So basically, you are in the launch stage now. Once you get approvals, then you are in the launch stage.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Prabhakar. Mr. Prabhakar Rao, you raised your hand. You're not audible. Mr. Prabhakar. Mr. Dilpreet Singh, you raised your hand. Is your mic working now? Mr. Devdas?
Hello, madam.
Yeah. Mr. Prabhakar, you're not audible. You people can also type in the chat box. Mr. Prabhakar, you're not audible. Anyone else?
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. I think I am right now in a stage of development right now because as per my current job role and everything, I think I require a development right now because I find I am been interacting with the government officials, with the public sector and everyone, and find I'm not learning anything new. I am doing the same job every day. So development and implementation is the thing which will be required right now to learn new things and to learn and to explore new ideas.
Okay. Mr. Reddy? Mr. Reddy, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, where do you place yourself in this innovation framework? Whether you are at
Um,
the discovery stage or ideation?
my aim is counseling my clients in my profession as I am doing advocacy as an advocate in Kakinada, particularly in cases relating to domestic violation cases, the divorce cases, because there are more cases in nowadays. Thank you. That's why I have to utilize this program in my profession.
Okay, wonderful. Anyone else? Mr. Prabhakar, if you may text your...
Madam, are you able to listen?
Yes, yes, yes. बोलिए.
Madam, I registered my company, madam, private limited company, one person company, madam. It's a food processing company because there is a lot of wastage of food post harvesting. I wish to address that problem, madam, by processing that food, which can be used nearly after 9 months and 1 year. After the post harvest, I wish to reduce the post harvest wastage, madam. That is my business idea, madam, especially in vegetable sector, madam.
Wonderful, wonderful. So now we move further and let us understand what this design thinking is and why is it important and where to use it. Okay, so these are the two figures. What are your perception on looking at these figures? Yeah, Miss Mirali.
The first one is not clear. The second one is clear.
Not clear and clear. Okay. Other observations, please.
Yeah, one is I think the figure one indicates that there is simply some ideas in the in mind to how to innovate or how to integrate some problems that is there and solve them. maybe socially or other ways of doing it. And the second figure shows it's a formation and taking shape and how we can implement it.
Yeah, you are quite close, 80% close. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
first figure indicates that
May I,
the
ma'am?
information which is available
Uh,
is very vast
uh,
and it is unorganized due to lack of ideas
uh,
and strategies.
uh,
Whereas the second figure shows that the information which is available is very well managed. It has a strategy,
okay.
and due to that, it is very simple to understand and it is very much clear for a beginner or for a normal people to understand without any technical or without any jargons included in it.
Okay. Dr. Ravi Shankar?
Ma'am, everyone will have their own perceptions. Like for me,
Certainly.
it gives me different ideas. One of the idea I can share with you, like we have a lot of resources. The first one indicates the point here is not that we have resources. The first figure is the person is also having a lot of resource, and the second figure also shows the person having also a lot of resource. But the point here is having a lot of resource is not the point. How to use the available resource, that is the most important thing. So how
Yeah, you
effectively you
have a
can use the
quite different
available
perception.
resource.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Good reply. Mr. Prabhakar, you also want to say something? You have raised your hand.
Hello, madam. I think there is some gap in government schemes and their implementation at the field level, madam. Actually, there are a lot of schemes which offer loan to entrepreneurs, MSMEs, etc., madam. But the banks are telling so many different reasons which are not existing in the government rule book, madam. There is a very high. I personally experienced it in my last 1 year, madam, in my business career. So there is a need for to fill that gap, madam, about government rules and their actual implementation. We need some guidance in that.
Okay, so this is a total different perception, but a good one. Then Dilpreet said that figure 2 is planned and figure 1 is a. So basically, all of you tried and gave your perceptions, but what we would like to say from this image is that the left hand side image is a kind of a very complex situation. I'll not say complicated, but it's a complex situation which involves kind of a human centric problem. And these problems, as you can see with the mess which one of you mentioned, is not well defined. And we do not have any significant data from the past, so that prediction using analytics could be made. So we cannot predict the future solution to these kind of problems, and there is no straightforward solution to it. For example, you may say that suppose if you lost the key for a lock, either you will get the duplicate key, and if that is not available, you will simply say, okay, break the lock. If the break the lock option is not also possible, you will simply try to remove the latch, and in a way you can open the door. But these problems are not that simple. Why? Because somewhere they involve humans. And when humans are involved, then the design, the way to approach the problem, the way to find the solution is through them. And here, as you can see, that the second picture shows, as very well mentioned by a few of you, that it is more structured, well planned, is that through the design thinking process, this kind of a complex situation which you are seeing on the left hand side gets resolved into a very well organized plan structure through the design thinking process. Now, I'll discuss a few case studies and situations with you to make you better understand about this process rather than going directly into the various stages of the process. So, there's a village in a far-flung area where the villagers are falling ill because of drinking contaminated water. Now, you know that water contamination is also one of major problems which we are facing, in particularly in the Indian context. So these villagers they drink the contaminated water from the pond, which is also some 3 to 5 kilometers away from their village. So what happened is that looking at their problem, what the local authorities did is that they built a water tank, and the water tank is only half kilometer away from their village. In fact, there are a cluster of villages, and the tank is not more than half kilometer away from the cluster of villages. And the condition is just to take out the cost of the water tank. The villagers are requested that they will be have to pay rupees 5 per 10 liter of water. So, prima facie, this is a wonderful solution that water tank has been installed, and they are just required to give 5 rupees per 10 liter water. And this is not far away, it is only half kilometer away. But even then, maximum villagers were not using the clean water, rather, they are managing water from the pond which has contaminated water. So, why this situation? Yeah. I just showed you a glimpse of the slide. Now let us discuss. Any one of you, why this situation arose? Mr. Shashi?
Yes, ma'am. I guess there would be something traditionally related to this going to fetch water from that pond. Just like it can be a special time for the villagers when they are having that spare time to discuss their situation, their maybe daily lives with different people whom they are visiting the pond with. So that kind of personal space or some personal tradition that they are following, and they're used to it, and no behavioral change work has been done into that end to change that thing initially, but just the setting up this water tank is kind of a disruption, but it hasn't been incited into the villagers, I guess.
Yeah, wonderful perception. Anyone else? Yeah, Mr. Reddy. Mr. Arjit?
Madam, it's free of cost, pond water. They need not required to pay any. And the income source of villagers, that money they have to pay, it has some their budget. Out of budget, they have to pay it for getting fresh water.
Very true.
That's a financial problem here.
Yeah. Any other problem?
There could be one more
Yes.
possibility, ma'am.
Yeah.
They might be having some filtration unit or some sort of, pot sort of thing at home wherein they don't require the filtered water. They might be doing it home, so at free of cost they are going to get the water. And secondly, they might be going in groups, spending some time social networking, and they might be coming together, I believe.
Yeah. Lot of hands are now put. So what to do? Ask one by one. Mr. Dilpreet? Okay, you have suggested that introduction of something new which is impossible at initial stage. First of all, nothing is impossible, everything is possible, but yeah, certainly at the initial stage there might be certain hesitations, certain challenges. Yeah, Mr. Reddy, you want to say something?
Yeah, there are a number of villages that are using tanks. No, madam. Now they are now polluted because of the industries are surround the villages. The water is the polluted water is coming to the tanks, but the administrators they are neglecting the polluted water and they are selling the water as it is, and people are utilizing the water as it is, and they are facing many problems in villages.
Yeah. Yeah, difficult is a correct word. So let us see what was the outcome and why this situation arose. Now, this is a different perception here that it was not easy for the villagers, especially the ladies of the house, to walk on the road that led to the water tank carrying water way back home. Second thing, as mentioned by others also, that the villagers did not require 10 liters of water per day, and neither they were ready to store extra water at home, nor they were ready to pay rupees 5 for it. So the local authorities, what happened is that they did not consult the need and convenience of the villagers. They took their own point of view. And now this is the crux of today's session. And that is from making people want things to making things people want. Like all of us are aware that the laptops and desktops penetration was not that successful than that of the mobile phones. So what happened is that it was something which was not suitable or not acceptable to all, but now the mobile device is one that has reached up to the grassroots. So it is some kind of making things people want. Here are another few examples. A simple cup with saucer and a cup with a place to keep the biscuits. It is quite handy and for to be used in office or say if you've gone somewhere out, this is something which is quite handy. The remote control, maybe many of us have not even used all the buttons of the remote control on the left hand side, and now we have a very simple remote control. With a few clicks we reach the point wherever we want to go. A mini PC. Now, in the last session, we had discussed about a mini PC, a kind of a device, if was available, which is very small, handy, and we could just travel with it. And nowadays, we have these virtual keyboards, virtual monitors, and through this PC, the device of the virtual keyboard. We can travel along with our PCs. If we don't need to carry our laptops, with this, it is possible. Then these air cycles. Initially, this design on the left-hand side was quite appreciated, but then it was found out that there are many elderly people who are not able to use these air cycles, and in a way, it is relating directly to the health issues. And they are developing diseases like diabetes and hypertension. So now on the right hand side you can see kind of a air cycle where they can comfortably sit on their sofas and chair and perform the same activity which was earlier done by the air cycle. So this is quite convenient to them. And then this is the shoes. These are the normal shoes, and now this is a shoe which which claims that it enables you to walk faster, run quicker. Then the BP monitoring machine. Hypertension is a major problem around the globe and specifically in our country. So it was very difficult for the people suffering with hypertension to carry their electronic BP machine or the manual BP machine, and now things are measurable through the mobile device. And for sugar testing also, it's been experimented and it will be soon launched in the market. So when we see these kind of products, these kind of solutions, the idea behind them is that the people who are launching these products, they basically analyze the needs, the requirements, the market gap, and accordingly bring the products. And that is why these products are very successful also. Steve Jobs said that design is not just what it looks like and how it feels, design is how it works. And that is why the Apple products which we have in market is something which everyone wants to have. Not because of Apple so-called, but because of the design per se and the ease of use which Apple devices and the interfaces and the software bring to us. Now I will take you through a case study where you will actually see how design thinking process is being followed. It is the case study of the good kitchen story. This is this challenge was faced by the government of Denmark, where the aging of population became challenge. Why it became challenge? Because what happened is that in a particular city or a district, around about 1,25,000 senior citizens, they were somehow required assistance. They were not able to take personal care of themselves. They were not able to prepare the full food, and so the government took the responsibility of serving the senior citizens and providing them meals in quite subsidized rate. So initially it was a good idea, it worked on well, but what happened is that after a few years they took a survey and they found out that the 60% of the senior citizens which lived in a kind of an assisted living had poor nutrition, and 20% were malnutrition. Now what was happening is that since they had a very poor nutritional conditions, it was getting difficult for the adults to take care of themselves, and they were not able to perform their daily activities and tasks, which directly meant that the adults were living a kind of a very deteriorated quality life, and the government felt that in future they will require more assistance and support. So this is kind of a vicious circle, which from this particular feedback they came to know. The other finding was that the meal service providers, specifically the people in the kitchen, uh, they were not able to accommodate the seniors' individual needs and wishes. They had a simple menu with hardly much variations, and thus, in a way, it was not accepted by the senior citizen to eat that kind of a meal daily. And these people also, because of certain constraints, which we'll come to know later, were not able to provide different types of uh, menu. So basically, here there are three entities in this particular challenge which we are going through. One are the senior citizens who are provided assisted living. Other one are the kitchen staff or the meal service providers. And the third one is the Danish municipality. So what happened is that after reviewing this data and looking at the growing social problems, the Danish municipality decided to hire the idea and design agency Hatch and Bloom to facilitate them in coming out with a creative solution, and which at least will resolve the problems faced by the Danish municipality as well as the senior citizens. They were of the perception. See how perception matters, and how by just getting the feedback and sitting at your own office or at your own place, you do not get the 360-degree view. So they perceive that since high quality food is being already offered to the elderly clients, so now what they need to do is that they need to change some here and there in the menu, and it should work. And so they thought that this project is straightforward, and it could be completed within a few days. But was it the case? Let us look what the type of meals which were delivered. So there were two types of meals. Number one was the refrigerated and vacuum packed food. So this type of food delivered to citizens once a week, and it had a shelf life of 2 weeks. The other one was the hot meals, which meant that this kind of meal is delivered to the citizens on day-to-day basis. So now, as a design agency, they try to contact and explore the other side issues. That is this the end, basically the end customers. So they dwell deep into the various needs, the preferences, styles, and behavior of the senior citizens. And what they did is that they use this journey map. Now, the journey mapping tool is a very effective tool as it enabled them to trace the experience of elderly from beginning to end. As it traced whether it is from the morning, during the day, in the evening, in the night, what were they doing, what were they thinking, and what were they feeling. So this journey mapping tool basically follows a customer or stakeholder as they receive a product or service or go through a process. And you will be surprised to know that there are a lot of unarticulated needs and some kind of an emotional side of a problem which otherwise is not visible even if you take feedback surveys was visible here and were found out to be very valuable. And it also kind of uncovers the hidden opportunities which are available right there to create better value for our end users. So during the process which they followed for utilizing the journey mapping tool to the best is that they rode with the food service employees who delivered the meal. They accompanied them into the homes of the elderly people. They observed them while they were preparing the food or adding ingredients or setting the table, and finally, even while they were eating the meals. And they observed their behavior, they observed what were the needs and what were the preferences and what were the styles. On the other hand, they also interviewed the kitchen supervisor just to understand what is the food preparation process. Now, while interacting with the kitchen manager, there were some very interesting facts which came out, which otherwise even the Danish municipality was not aware of. And it was that working in a public service kitchen was a low status job which was considered in their district. So, the kitchen employees were quite demoralized and unmotivated, and they were working for the sake of working. So basically, after in-depth interviews, observations, and the journey mapping, which the agency had done, some of the findings which came out, which the most important one is that there was a total disconnect between the senior citizens and the kitchen staff. And there were a lot of emotional need which was not met. At the end of the senior citizens, the problems which they discovered were that they would have loved to, take help or support from their family members for their personal needs, for their hygienic needs. But they considered a social stigma of receiving the assistance from others, specifically from the people who were sent by the government. And They missed their family. This caused them embarrassment, and they had no choice for food. Whatever was provided to them, whether it was the packaged one or whether it was the hot meals on day-to-day basis, they had to give, and they had to eat. And then they had to eat alone. They missed their family members. On the other hand, the kitchen staff, they had low status job, and they had some kind of an economic and logistical constraints, which preventing them from doing something more interesting. Though they certainly cooked food, but still the way they wanted to experiment, that was not possible. But there was the positive side of the story also, that the senior citizens who were provided assisted living, they were responsible and capable in the kitchen. They had a key sense of seasons and positive association with seasonal food. Like they knew when to use the strawberries, when to use apple, when to use mangoes, and how the mix and match they can do while the food is being offered to them. And they could also customize their meals. And the kitchen workers were also, they cared for them and they wanted to do a good job. So where the problem is? So this is the waters stage, which was completed. In this stage, basically, we focus on the current needs of our customers, of our end users. We see what are the obstacles that we want to overcome. It gives us insights into what our stakeholders are looking for. And obviously, from this water stage, we will not directly jump into the conclusion. We will then start the what if stage. Basically, in the what if stage, we will cover the various possibilities, and we will also look how to overcome the constraints which are listed out in our previous section. So what happened is that the design agency identified broader group of stakeholders like public officials, volunteers, experts in elderly issues, kitchen workers and employees of residential care facilities. And they had the vision to co-create the solution along with these stakeholders. For this, they also thought actually that the stakeholders will in a way help them in understanding the nature of the challenges and practicing and participating in creating a new and better meal service. So they conducted a series of workshops. They reviewed and analyzed the challenges, issues, and opportunities that come out from water stage, developed insights and designed criteria to form idea generation through the brainstorming process. So they asked the participants to think of the kitchen as a restaurant. So, they gave an impetus, a kind of a creative thought that just change the thought of a kitchen into a restaurant, and now try to look kitchen as a restaurant. So as soon as this idea was given to them, they become very proactive, because now the kitchen workers were no more only kitchen workers, they were chefs, and the delivery people are the waiters. And they came up with few ideas during these workshops, like to improve the vehicle used for delivery, as now the delivery people were the waiters. So they put attention on them also for the new, to provide new uniform for employees, using newsletters and comment cards as a feedback mechanism as well as a publicity mechanism, and also describing a meal on the menu. Because what happened is that for in the present situation, like for a particular meal, say liver, potatoes, and sauce. Now this is not something which is very attractive or sounds tempting. So they wanted to change the way the description of the meal is given. And through this workshop, what happened is the participants of the workshop also started wondering. So So they came up with ideas that why can't we look for a kind of an actual restaurant menu, and why we can't we describe the menu in very different ways, in very new ways, which makes them tempted to eat the food. So from this what if, they move to the what wow stage. And during the third workshop, it was all about the testing the ideas which came up from the previous workshops rather than generating new ideas. For example, they experimented with 3 different variants of the menu. They showed the participants 3 different versions of the menu, and they were different in terms of color, typography, and picture. So basically, the concepts which appear to be abstract during the ideation stage, they tried to, using the visualization technique, they tried to concretize the abstract concepts. Then they moved on to the what works stage. This is basically the prototype and testing stage. So they tested prototypes with different combinations, and the way the food is actually presented to the customers, that is our senior citizens. So as you can see in the picture, the experiments, these kind of experiments actually led to another project which required design innovation in some quick packaging, some design changing, mixing things together, so that they could provide modular meals where components were separated instead of being mixed together as done in the earlier case. So they had new menus, new uniforms for employees, and a new name, the Good Kitchen. They changed the name. And a new communication channel was also developed using newsletters and comment cards, which was very much loved by the elderlies. And today there is a good connect between senior citizen and the kitchen staff. And the senior citizen exactly know which kitchen staff is preparing what for them. And in a way, both share a kind of a very personal and professional relationship. And it has given immense satisfaction to both the senior citizens as well as the kitchen staff, because now there is a kind of a connect between them. And as a result of this, 500% there was an increase in 500% as far as the meal orders were concerned, and this was in the first week alone. So basically, from this case study, what the main points which came out were that there was a shift in employees' perception of themselves and their work. The kitchen workers were more satisfied and motivated, and the customers, the end users, that is the senior citizen, they were happier with their food. And every one of us know, जैसा अन्न होता है वैसा मन होता है. And so if they are happy eating, then certainly their mind is happy. If their mind is happy, then their body and soul are also happy. So through this example, basically, I tried to take you through the design thinking process, which has 5 stages. First stage is empathize, in which we observe and learn from the end users, our customers. In this case, it was the elderly citizens. And here, in fact, the service provider were also our kind of end user. Once we empathize, we define the problem. After defining the problem through various ideation techniques like brainstorming, brainwriting, Scamper, ideas are generated. Prototypes are developed. They could be in form of proof of concept or a kind of storyboards, and it could be a kind of a paper pen image also. And the reason for developing the prototype is that once a prototype is developed, it could be tested with their end users, and if there is any flaw, it could immediately again be developed and retested, so that before it reaches the state of the minimal viable product, we have a kind of a feedback of what will run in the market and what not. And this, the what is, what if, what was, and what work stages maps with the empathize and define stage, what if maps with the ideation stage, what was matches with the prototype, and what work matches with the test stage. So now I have a question for all of you. Can you especially for the alumni students as well as the students who are currently pursuing their degree or certificate from IGNOU, can you in one sentence explain a need which you feel while pursuing your program in IGNOU? We have around about 18 minutes left. Yeah. Dr.
Ma'am, can you
Ravi
please
Shankar?
repeat the question?
The
Can
question
you
is
please
that
repeat the question,
while
ma'am?
you are pursuing your program in IGNOU, specifically you have earlier also done MBA, and while you are pursuing this program, what is that one thing which you feel is the need while you are pursuing this program? It could be related to material, it could be related to assignment, it could be related to examination, or any other.
Okay.
Mirali says,
So for me, ma'am, like,
yeah.
Yeah, for me, ma'am, like it was like um, gaining in-depth knowledge so that I can find ways to directly apply into my work. Like for example, like I have I am already into this field of counseling and psychology, and I have my PhD in psychology. Now I am doing a 6-month certificate course. This is an add-on advantage for me so that I can enhance my knowledge in different domains, because counseling is a vast area. You can do counseling with adolescents, you can do counseling with the families, you can do counseling with the different people. But presently I'm doing a certificate course in adolescent counseling, so that what I really wanted is gain as much as possible from that particular course and apply directly to my domain. That was my idea, ma'am. So I think
Okay.
I'm able to do it from the courses.
Oh, wonderful. So basically your need is met.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dilpreet?
It is.
Yeah. Mr. Dilpreet? You have raised hand. Mirali says, be independent. Independent in what sense, Mirali?
Financial.
No, but need from the program which you are pursuing right now. Is there any specific need which you feel like it was mentioned by Anjali that she wants to attempt exams many times?
Ma'am, many exams like UPSC, IB, CS, CDS, different types of government exams.
So, matlab, what is your need as per the IGNOU program? Are you fully satisfied, or you feel that there is some need which is yet unmet?
Ma'am, IGNOU is time saving for me.
Okay, wonderful. Anyone else? Mr. Arjit?
Yes, madam. It is very much competitive world, and one has to upgrade yourself from time to time. And IGNOU is quite supportive. It's online mode, and you can continue your study parallelly doing your job. So that's why I have joined IGNOU, and I'm very
Wonderful.
satisfied.
Wonderful. Mr. Prabhakar?
Madam, I already started my venture, madam, my new company. In that, I have somewhat a theoretical knowledge, or say, not exactly theoretical. I have ground knowledge and to know more about the government procedures and some entrepreneur abilities and the need and abilities to face a situation and so on. To know these particular skills of an entrepreneur, I wish to join the course, madam. MA in entrepreneurship, madam.
Mr. Reddy?
Yeah, this is a good subject. Nowadays, senior citizens are facing very bad in the society. More having attaining the age of 60 years and above, the senior citizens' welfare will face many problems. More doctors should be needed to care treatment of diseases like BP, sugar, and heart diseases. The young people are completely neglecting nowadays due to some problems of them. The government should take steps to establish more senior citizen homes, better nutritious food and medicines also to be given every time. Recreation should be provided in the field of religion also. The senior citizens are feeling alone. More voluntary organizations should assist them to the needy. The family members should contact them frequently and talk freely with them so that they can gain relief in rest of their life. This is a good program, and this program will be utilized to psychology people and doctors also nowadays. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Anyone else would like to mention?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah.
IGNO provides a very convenient and flexible prototype to learn something. I mean to say that if a person in any age group, like he is married, he is working, so IGNO serve a notice that at any point of time, any point of age, you are open to learn anything. If the same thing happens in colleges, then people will not be that much convenient to visit the college, have some classes, and learn something. But with IGNO, it is very convenient for us. Even we are working, we are investing something in us, and IGNO is helping us to invest that in us. Like if a person of 60 years is also allowed to allowed to learn, and housewives and from any part of the country, if the subject or if that certification is not available in that area, IGNO provides to learn sitting in any in any corner of the world, and gain that certificate and gain that experience. This is what IGNO provides.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dev. Now, moving further, we discussed in depth about the design thinking, and through case study, we actually I hope that you also learned the various stages and processes and how to solve a complex problem using the design thinking tool, which is basically a problem solving tool. But design thinking in itself is nothing without critical thinking. आप में से मुझे कोई बताएंगे कि कब ऐसा हुआ होगा कि आपने कॉइन उछाल के डिसीजन लिए होंगे? वो कौन से डिसीजन होते थे जब आप कॉइन उछाल के डिसाइड करते थे किसी चीज के बारे में? कोई बताएगा अगर किसी को याद है तो?
Ma'am, batting, bowling in cricket.
अपनी लाइफ का कोई एग्जांपल दीजिए.
मैम फॉर एन एग्जांपल, व्हेन देयर आर नॉट मेनी ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल, जहाँ पे हमारे पास टाइम कम है, एंड वी नीड टू we are in a situation where we need to do or die. In that situation, we have always take a decision by flipping a coin kind of thing.
क्या आप कॉम्प्लेक्स सिचुएशंस में फ्लिपिंग कॉइन के थ्रू वर्क कर सकते हैं?
Up to some extent, yes, we can.
तो आप कॉइन फ्लिप करके अपना कोई भी बिजनेस डिसीजन ले लेंगे?
Not in case of
Madam,
business
can you
decision,
please
ma'am.
repeat the question, madam? I can't
हाँ.
understand Hindi.
Okay, what I
I
meant to
can't understand
say,
Hindi,
ask
madam.
you is that have you ever flipped the coin while taking a decision, maybe in your school days, maybe in your college days?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No,
So
no, no.
basically my point of asking this question was that in order to make decisions, correct decisions in life, critical thinking is very important. And you might have observed that during every stage of the design thinking process, wherever we were analyzing, wherever we were reviewing, basically we were using the critical thinking process only, where what we do is that we have questions, we analyze them, we interpret them, we evaluate them, and then make judgment. Basically, good critical thinking is about making reliable judgment based on reliable information, not like flipping the coin. And to foster innovation, specifically when you have to deliver a customer-centric solution, blending of design thinking with critical thinking becomes very essential. So speaking of in the design thinking context, critical thinking is a method basically to evaluate, analyze the problems, ideas, and different situations to build a clear understanding before reaching to the optimal solution. See, design thinking also, as we observed, is a process that involves stages of observation, empathy, then problem formulation, then deduction of solutions, then testing, and based on the testing, if some alteration in the prototype is required, we also do that, and then we reiterate. So critical thinking becomes an integral component in every part of the design thinking process. In fact, to have an effective design thinking work, we need to have critical and creative thinking very much in place. Basically, in design thinking styles, it is quite popular, and it takes part in the various stages of the design thinking process. Now the time, we have 6 minutes left, so a very small exercise for you. What can you get from this image? What is the impression that you get from this image? Any idea?
It's an
Ma'am, it
animation, ma'am.
represents, yeah, it represents that whatever the situation will be, you should always be active and you should always be positive in any scenario.
Okay. What else? Some real life. It is related to some real life problem. One hint.
It's a pirate, ma'am. It's a pirate. It's a ship,
Yeah.
and the ship is being taken over by a pirate.
Very true. Wonderful. Anything else?
I think that the ship is wrecked, ma'am, or either it's been attacked because it's almost destroyed.
Very true. You are completely immersed into it. Wonderful. And what about this? Any idea after looking at this image? Any vague idea which might be quite different from what you see?
It's a CT scanner, kind of a CT scan, or
Yeah, it is a CT scanner. So basically, as there is less time, what I would like to mention here in a short is that the kids, they were terrified of getting MRIs done. So GE came out with a brilliant solution, and you know these kids, like 80% of the kids were sedated because otherwise MRI could not take place. It takes around about 40 to 45 minutes. So what Dietz from GE did was that he created a kind of, I'll not discuss all these in details, but he created a kind of a prototype where, you know, what he did, that the physical appearance of the CT scanner was completely changed. The room and everything was completely changed, though the internal technology of the scanner remained the same. And by emphasizing on this, this CT scan became a play like a thing for children. And you know, they also nowadays provide these smart glasses, so they can watch movies with headphones. And in the initial days, what they did is that you know, they recreated this entire scene where, you know, the when they are put into the CT scan, and when there is a voice, as many of not many, but those who have gone through it might be knowing, and it's quite disturbing. So you know, they will recreate a scene that now there's this bomb is coming, and so it is now you can feel like this. And then, you know, they recreated that entire pirate story. So the kids were busy in that, and while their MRI used to take place. And now, you know, they put glasses with the favorite movies of the kids, and while they're watching, their MRI is being done. And this was a very successful story. We do have a YouTube link which we will give you later on, and you can watch. So basically, through these case studies, what we found out is, very common thing is that for innovations to happen and to go to the market, it is very important we have to look the ideas which are in our mind from the point of view of desirability, feasibility, and viability. Whether the people for whom we are going to develop the solution want it or not, whether the technology which we are going to use to develop the solution or the service or the product is feasible or not. In the sense, for example, if today we talk of a technology which we are expecting to come in 2040, there is no point in working on that idea. That can be kept on hold, and maybe later on when the technology is available, we can do that. The other thing is business viability, which is very important, because here the time is also important. Whether you have the financial resources or not, how much resources are required, and ultimately whether it will lead in profitability model or not. So now, as we have only 1 minute left, so I will end my session. But before ending this session, I would now like to interact with all of you, and would like to meticulously write down the name of the participants who are interested in, you know, working with us further, where we can facilitate them in developing their ideas, their prototypes into products, or even, you know, giving them a hand holding and facilitating them in establishing their startups. Miss Lakshmi, you have to say something.
Hello, madam. Jyotsna ma'am.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me, madam?
Yes, Miss Lakshmi.
Yes. I had a startup in my mind related to senior citizen only. It was related to mental hygiene.
Okay.
And here my objective was to provide a good social relationship between the family and the senior citizens. So in that perspective, I'll be designing a small modules. It may go of near about minimum 3 hours to it can go up to a 3-day workshop also.
Okay, so maybe as now it's already 12, maybe I hope you will be with us in the next 2 days also. And
Yes, ma'am.
we would expect that we have a team of our participants with whom we'll be working in with more sessions in hand holding and facilitating you in developing your ideas whether you want to develop a prototype or a product or you want to launch a startup. Dr. Ravi Shankar would like to say something.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I just want to confirm, like when you say hand holding, is it like an incubation?
It will depend on the idea and the support you want, because we have our regional centers also. So in case you require the support of a physical incubator or a business incubator, then certainly we can work with our regional centers and find out a way for you. But
Is
certainly
this
at
across
the
India, ma'am?
headquarters, it is virtual incubation.
No, it is across India because what is just my idea is, ma'am, like I am planning to start something in South, like Bangalore or Chennai, something which will have a presence pan India.
Yeah, so I would like request Dr. O.P. Sharma if he could give his observations or comments on this.
Okay, it's a good that you have in mind. If you are thinking of setting up something your own, then there are two possibilities. One is like we may be incubating you virtually, like this session or some one-to-one mentoring session. Also, we can bring in some experts related to your field. That is possible through this virtual incubation facility which we have at IGNO. Another initiative we are going to take, that is to connect the interested students with the nearby incubator, because government of India and other agencies, they have set up a number of incubators all over country. So with the help of our regional center, we would like to connect the interested students or the innovators with those nearby incubators. So these two possibilities are there. If you have some technological component in that which require some lab work or some workshop kind of thing, hands-on thing, then certainly you would require that physical incubator. Otherwise, we will be there to incubate in virtual mode. One-to-one mentoring also we ourselves will be doing, and the experts which we will be inviting from the field as well as from the other areas who have this kind of expertise, they will be interacting. So that kind of incubation possibilities are there.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. But just one more point to clarify: this virtual incubation include a resourceful help in terms of finance also.
Right now, we don't have finance support, but certainly we help the interested innovators to get finance. We try to connect them with the financing agencies. We try to help them in developing good business plan um, that can fetch them the money from the investors, from the government agencies like that. So because many of our students, we know, they are not aware of what are the agencies from where we can get money. So that kind of support we provide.
Okay, sir. And my last point is the
Yes.
idea which I have in my mind is split into two different dimensions. What I really want to start is a mental health domain where I can perform two different activities. One is a service to the needy people in the form of counseling and for their mental well-being. And second thing is an advanced study in the field of psychology for the aspirants of psychology. So can we make it both at the same time in the form of an institution?
It's quite possible, because it's quite possible. I think whenever you are doing something, maybe in the form of startup or some enterprise, then research work can go side by side, and it should go, I think, for the purpose of improvement, for what kind of newness you can bring in, what kind of new features you can add. For that purpose, that research should be there. And if you are from the psychology background and medical background, then I think you should continue that research work. That will certainly help in improving whatever you are doing.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, Poonam want to say something.
नमस्कार सर। सर मैंने थोड़ा सा कुछ फैशन डिज़ाइनिंग और मैं किया हुआ है कुछ कोर्स, और मैं अभी बीएफए कर रही हूँ, मेरा 3rd ईयर है। मेरे दिमाग में कुछ ऐसा प्लान है, मैं कुछ टेक्सटाइल से रिलेटेड कुछ सेटअप करना चाहती हूँ, जिसमें लाइक हम एम्ब्रॉयडरीज या वेस्ट मटेरियल से कुछ प्रोडक्शंस वगैरह, ऐसा बहुत कुछ है मार्केट में, कर रहे हैं बहुत से लोग। बट फिर भी ऐसा कुछ मैं करना चाहती हूँ जो अंडर वन रूफ आपको बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस मिलें। लाइक हम आसपास जो लेडीज़ हैं घर में उनको ट्रेन करके, या फिर थोड़ा जो फाइनेंशियली इतने अपर लेवल पे नहीं है उसको कुछ ला के उनको कुछ सिखा के, ऐसा मेरे दिमाग में है, बट मैं अभी कुछ कॉन्क्रीट इसको कर नहीं पा रही हूँ। ऐसा कुछ करना चाहती हूँ,
ऐसा
कुछ
है
गाइडेंस
पूनम जी
चाहिए।
कि ये तो बहुत अच्छा है कि आपने कम से कम इस तरीके का एक सोच पैदा किया दैट यू वांट टू डू समथिंग अपने
जी,
फील्ड से रिलेटेड, एंड देयर इज अ नीड आल्सो,
हाँ
सर्टेनली देयर इज अ
सर।
नीड। आपके
क्योंकि मैं
जैसे बहुत
जैसे
हैं
कि
जो इसमें दो तीन तरीके से हो सकता है। एक तो यह है कि यू कैन डू इट एट योर ओन, अपने आप कोई काम शुरू करते हैं और उसको ले जाकर के आप काफी हाई लेवल तक ले जा सकते हैं। यू कैन कोलैबोरेट विद अदर अदर पर्सन ऑल्सो, क्योंकि ऐसे आपके टेक्सटाइल के फील्ड में और भी होंगे जो वुड लाइक टू डू समथिंग बट दे विल नॉट टेक इनिशिएटिव एट देयर ओन, तो आप यू कैन टेक देम इन योर टीम, सो दैट पॉसिबिलिटी इज देयर। इसमें मैं ये आपको सजेस्ट करूंगा कि वट एवर आइडिया यू हैव इन माइंड, आप उसको पेन पेपर पर लिखिए जरूर, यूजिंग योर पेन, मेक ए डिटेल प्रपोजल। आप क्या करना चाहते हैं, क्यों करना चाहते हैं, कैसे करना चाहते हैं, अगर कर रहे हैं तो फ्रॉम वेयर विल यू गेट द फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट, क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स आपको आ सकती हैं, ये सारी चीजें अगर आप पेपर पे लिखते हैं और फिर आप देखेंगे, इफ यू रिव्यू इट योरसेल्फ देन यू विल फाइंड कि हाँ इसमें तो ये तो हो नहीं सकता है, या ये तो बहुत आसान है, इसके लिए तो पैसा कहाँ से आएगा, कितना पैसा आएगा, हाउ टू स्टार्ट इनिशियली, दैट काइंड ऑफ डिटेल्स आई थिंक यू शुड वर्क आउट। और अगर आप ये कर लेते हैं तो यू कैन कम to us also virtually or physically, if you are staying in NCR you can come here, तो आपके साथ हम इंटरेक्ट करेंगे एंड विल ट्राई टू ब्रिंग आवर textile faculty also from School of Continuing Education. They also have this kind of expertise, so they can guide you what are all possibilities. ठीक है, आप ये जरूर करिए कि जो आपके दिमाग में जो भी आ रहा है उसको आप एक नोट करिए, डिटेल्ड प्रपोजल उसका बनाइए, दैट इज द फर्स्ट स्टेज।
ठीक है सर,
ओके,
बी डूइंग सर। ठीक, थैंक यू सर।
यस, so it has been a very interactive session on design thinking and critical thinking, so good.
Uh, yes, indeed, it was a very, very interactive session, and I thank Dr. Jyotsna Dikshit for sparing her valuable time to take this session.